Welcome to my free writing course. My name's Mahsuda. Today I'm going to give you 3 tips for writing rejection. These tips are particularly for writing rejection, but they may apply to other areas of your life. Tip number 1. Remember, it's not personal. Of course, whenever you get a rejection for your writing, it feels very personal. That's because writing is a personal act. We're not just reporting some data that we found from a book. We're using our personal experiences and personal craft to create something that we are pleased with. Especially if you've been working on a long project like a novel or a screenplay, it can be brutal when you get those rejections back. But the thing to remember is many agents and editors get hundreds of submissions a day. So it might be a case that the reader does like your writing, but they've already seen a book that's quite familiar to it. It might also be the case that your work just needs a few tweaks and twiddles to get it to the right place, but the agent or editor or reader who's got your piece just hasn't got the time to invest in you to make those changes. What you used to get was rejection slips. What you often find now is you don't hear anything at all. So if you don't get any actual feedback from the people you're sending to, I would highly advise you try and get feedback from some other source. So it could be an online forum, it could be some writing peers that you've got to know and you really respect. It could be someone that's a real avid reader that you know will give you honest feedback. What I would not advise is to just give it out randomly to family and friends. Some of your family and friends will tell you it's terrific whether they think it is or not, and some of your family and friends will pick at faults that are actually not that helpful to you as a writer. Saying you don't like a character but not really knowing why you don't like them is not helpful to a writer. So get feedback, but be really selective about where you get that feedback from. My tip number 2 is that you can't win without failing first. I know that sounds a bit like a motivational quote, but I honestly believe that it's our mistakes that teach us that we can get back up after falling down, and it's our mistakes that also teach us what to do next. Putting your work out there is a big and scary thing to do, and there's many people who would love to be a writer but can't put themselves out there because of the fear of rejection. So remember, putting yourself in the race is better than not being in the race at all. Every time you send out something, congratulate yourself. If you get a rejection, congratulate yourself for getting that thing out there, so at least it could have been rejected. I am starting to sound like a motivational speaker again, so now I will move on to tip number 3. Tip number 3, learn and get better. Whenever you get a writing rejection, it's an opportunity for you to learn something. And that thing is not that your writing is awful. It might be that your writing isn't for that particular agent, editor or reader. It might just be that you need to tweak a few areas of your writing so it gets up to the level of which it can be published. If you do get a rejection with advice, that's valuable advice, and hold on to it and really take note. A lot of rejections don't give you advice, so you can do what I said in the first tip and make sure you go out and find that advice for yourself. So I decided to do a little investigation into my first novel and when I sent it out and how many people I sent it out to. So my first novel, The Things We Thought We Knew, I started writing when I was 16 and wrote on and off until I was about 30. So don't take this as a general for everybody's writing. However, I started sending that novel out in 2003 and carried on sending that novel out until 2014. I had 22 rejections, many of which I didn't get an actual formal rejection or any written feedback. Between that period of 2003 and 2014, I was working on other projects, and I also was developing my skills as a writer. Most importantly, I applied for a lot of opportunities for feedback. And it was through those opportunities that I was able to develop and learn and grow as a writer. To the point that in 2014, I won a prize for that novel I wrote when I was 16 years old, and also got an offer of representation from 3 agents. So I really hope that my story emphasises that it doesn't matter how many rejections you get. In fact, rejection is a part of the writing journey, but you can do it. This was part of my free writing course. If you'd like to watch more of these videos, subscribe to this channel. And if you'd like me to make more of these videos, you can support me by buying me a coffee on the Ko-fi link below. Thank you for joining me, and remember, everyone's writing journey is different, so find the path that works for you.